you know, since when was it a YouTube broadcast meant to appear as, you know, there are kids walking past outside referencing my name, the video. I feel like a monkey in a zoo. Since when was my YouTube presentations meant to portray me as a monkey in a zoo? But this is the society we're in. It's fascist Nazism. Anyway, here's the tale. I decided to pay a visit to a bookshop in central London, and I think I picked a Wednesday afternoon to make that visit, and I got there about 2 o'clock, 1 o'clock, I think, 12 o'clock, 11 o'clock. Bought a couple of books, and on the way home I visited a friend of mine who was an author, and had a discussion with him about the books that I just purchased, and just over to the north of London, and I returned in the afternoon, and when I got back, there was a tall, silver-haired, upper-class woman in my premises, and a lot of trouble began from that very day that she arrived. That would have been 1991, 1990. She was in my premises when I got back, and she was causing trouble. And that trouble that she started has continued up until the present day, through nearly 30 years, 27 years of major strife and upheaval for the country, certainly major strife and upheaval for the country, but for me in particular, far worse than strife and upheaval in my personal life. She caused me a great deal of damage, and her attitude, well, I'm a psychologist myself, so I can suggest that it's her attitude that caused the situation. So, and I'm not going to let go of the truth of this, and I think this will be borne out by things to come. That So I'll just say that I've given a fair description of her. She's about 6'1", blonde, blue-eyed, stockings, skirts, jacket, and I've it seems not to get through to anybody's understanding that I talk to. I'm certainly isolated to the extent that I get no sympathy for this point of view at all, but it's you know, a character assassination took place on that day. I was libelled without legal defence and thrown to the wall. Thrown to the wolves. I was thrown to the wolves. And still am, exist in that state today. So I'll just make that clear, you know, I'm not giving up on my chance of freedom, and you'll see what you get if you fuck with the OTGF. Am I making myself clear? You know, now I talked about my personal situation. Now let's move on to let's consider the strife and upheaval of the country. Now, whose decision was the trouble that took place the trouble that took place throughout? Whose decision was it? Now, I reconsider that I consider that it may be too tempting for me to apply the blame to individuals in the political circuit when the trouble arose. Perhaps the blame rests with the military themselves. Would seem to be more believable that things militarily took place that were out of the account of what the public saw, which is not to excuse those in the roles, but devastation is what it is. Devastation is what it has been. Devastation is what it is. Complete devastation. So, complete devastation. And the sound of screaming black children as if we were in the 1930s, aiming at the 1940s, is no succor to anyone. This, you know, it's, you know, this country has been devastated. It has been devastated. And there really isn't a decent person left to describe what has happened. So, you know, he's just filled the highways with immigrants. Who have no real or sincere role to play ever.